In part 1, I told you I shifted to the wrong reality. I told you it was terrifying, but I didn't tell you everything. There are parts of that experience I left out. Parts that scared me so much, I wasn't ready to share them. Parts that still give me nightmares. But you deserve to know the whole truth, because what I'm about to tell you, this is the real reason I'll never shift without crystal clear intentions again. In this video, I'm revealing the 3 things I didn't tell you in part 1. And trust me, the third one is the reason I almost gave up shifting forever. Let's get into it. So, quick recap for anyone new. I attempted to shift to a desired reality. I had my script, my method, my everything. I felt the symptoms, I heard the static, I counted down, and when I opened my eyes, things were just wrong. My bedroom was my bedroom, but the light was wrong. My family was my family, but they felt like strangers wearing familiar faces. It was a reality that was almost mine, but it wasn't. And getting back was a struggle I barely survived. I collapsed back into this body, shaking and crying. That's what I told you. But there were 3 things I didn't tell you. 3 details I left out because, honestly, I was scared to say them out loud. Scared you'd think I was crazy. Scared reliving them in detail would make them real again. But keeping secrets doesn't help anyone. So here's what really happened. The first thing I didn't tell you. It started before I even shifted, the warnings, and I ignored every single one. 3 days before I shifted, I had the same nightmare 3 nights in a row. It wasn't a vague, scary dream. It was specific. In it, I was standing in my desired reality, in the room I'd scripted. Everything was perfect, except everyone's faces were blurred, like someone had smudged wet paint over their features. And there was this sound, a low, persistent static, like a broken radio. But underneath that static, a voice was whispering my name. Except it wasn't my name. It was calling me Lena, over and over. Lena, you're early, Lena. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding against my ribs. I told myself it was just nerves, my subconscious processing my excitement. I was so desperate to shift, so sure I was ready, that I rationalized it away. That was my first mistake. But the warnings didn't stop with the dreams. The day of the shift, the universe was practically screaming at me. My phone glitched, showing me a news article from a date that hadn't happened yet. The clock on my microwave kept flipping to 3:33, even after I unplugged it. My dog, who follows me everywhere, wouldn't come near my room. He just stood in the hallway, whining, the fur on his back standing straight up. I felt this intense prickling feeling on the back of my neck all day, like I was being watched from just behind my left shoulder. Every intuitive bone in my body was telling me to stop, to wait, to cleanse my space, to rewrite my script, to just not do it that night. But my ego was louder. I thought I've done all this work. I'm so close. It's just fear. I have to push through the fear. So I didn't listen. I shut down every warning sign. And that arrogance, that is what sent me straight into the wrong reality. The guilt I feel for ignoring my own intuition is almost as haunting as what came next. But the warnings before weren't even the scariest part. What I didn't tell you about during the shift, that's where it gets really dark. In part 1, I said things felt off, people seemed wrong, but I left out the detail that shattered my perception of what was happening. I left out the mirror. When I first woke up there in that almost bedroom, I stumbled to the bathroom. My head was spinning, the static from my dreams was still a faint echo in my ears. I splashed water on my face, trying to ground myself. And then I looked up, into the mirror. It was me, my hair, my face, my eyes. For a second, relief flooded me. I was still me. But then my reflection smiled. I was not smiling. I was staring in confused horror. My reflection's lips curled up into this calm, knowing smile. A smile I have never made in my life. And its eyes, my eyes, locked onto mine. Not the glassy stare of a reflection, but a focused, conscious lock. It saw me. It recognized me as something separate. And in that split second, I didn't just feel like I was in the wrong place. I understood. I might have shifted into a reality that already had an occupant. And that occupant was staring back at me from my own reflection. It wasn't just a wrong reality. It was someone else's reality. And I was the intruder. The terror that shot through me was pure and electric. I stumbled back from the sink, tripping over the bath mat. The reflection's smile didn't fade. It just watched me fall. That's when the true nature of the horror set in. This wasn't an empty, glitched reality. It was inhabited. And whatever was in there with me, wearing my face, was aware of my presence. Every interaction after that was poisoned by that knowledge. When my sister in that reality asked me a question with that flat, wrong tone, I wasn't just hearing a strange person. I was wondering, is that what it looks like on the outside? Is that the face of the thing in the mirror? The existential dread wasn't about being lost. It was about being seen by something that shouldn't exist. It was about the violation of having my own identity used as a mask. I spent the entire time there trying to avoid reflective surfaces, but they were everywhere. Windows, spoons, the screen of a turned-off TV, and in every one, that subtle wrong expression awaited me. A constant reminder I was not just a visitor, I was a replacement. But even that, the living mirror, wasn't the worst part. What I'm about to tell you, this is the thing that haunts me most, the reason I almost quit shifting forever. The thing that made me question if I even should have come back. I didn't tell you the full truth about my return. In part 1, I said I fought, I used my safe word, I came back exhausted but relieved. That's true, but it's not the whole story. Here's what I didn't tell you. I'm not entirely sure I came back to the right reality. When I woke up here, in this bed, the relief was so overwhelming I cried. Everything looked right. My room was perfectly my room. My dog jumped on me, licking my face. I called my best friend, sobbing, and she sounded exactly like herself. For 2 days, I clung to that normalcy, and then I saw it on my bookshelf, a book I have never owned in my life. It's a thick old paperback with a faded green spine, The History of Silent Films. I am not a film buff. I have never been interested in silent films. I asked my mom if she put it there. She hadn't. I asked my friends if it was a weird gift. No one knew what I was talking about. It's a tiny, stupid detail, but it's a detail that doesn't belong, and it opened a door in my mind I can't close. What if, in my panicked scramble to escape that wrong reality, I didn't perfectly target my original one? What if I just shifted to a reality that is 99.9% identical? One where a single book on a shelf is different. One where maybe, just maybe, other tiny things are off, but I haven't discovered them yet. Have you ever had that feeling? Where you walk into a room and something is different, but you can't pinpoint what? I live with that feeling now, constantly. I look at a childhood photo and wonder, was that tree always there? I'll hear a song and think, did this lyric used to be different? I am auditing my own life, my own memories, looking for cracks in the foundation. The terrifying possibility isn't that I got lost once. It's true. It's that I might still be lost, that the me who belonged here originally, maybe she's somewhere else, looking at a bookshelf, missing a book, and wondering what's wrong. And that thought leads to the darkest, most unsettling question of all, the one that keeps me up at night. What if I've never been in my original reality? What if every shift we successfully make is just us hopping to a nearly identical universe, and we never, ever get back to the precise point we started from? What if the Luna who started this journey, the one who had the first thought about shifting, isn't me anymore? Maybe she's in another layer of reality, living a life where I never made that first video. Maybe I'm a version of her who took a wrong turn and can never retrace her steps. This isn't just about one bad shift. This is about the fundamental nature of existence. If shifting is real, and I know it is, then how can we ever be sure of a single stable home? The anchor I thought was so solid, my own past, might be an illusion. So why am I telling you all this? Why share this existential terror? Because I need you to understand, reality shifting is real. Shifting is real. It's powerful. It's not a game or a daydream, and it requires absolute respect. Here's what I learned from the wrong reality, from the mirror, from the book on the shelf. 1. Always listen to warning signs. If something feels off, stop. Your intuition isn't fear, it's your soul's navigation system. Ignore it, and you will get lost. 2. Be specific with your intentions. Vague scripts leave doors open, doors you do not want to walk through. Script your return address with more detail than your destination. 3. Have a fail-safe. A safe word, an anchor, a method you can activate even in pure panic. Practice it here until it's muscle memory. And 4. You have to make peace with the questions. I may never know for sure if this is my original reality. Obsessing over it will drive you insane. So I've made a decision. This reality right here with you watching this video. This is the one I choose. I am here now, and I will build my life from this point forward, with intention. But here's the thing. Despite the terror, despite the lingering dread, I don't regret learning to shift. This horrific experience taught me more about the fabric of consciousness, about my own power, about the nature of reality itself than 1,000 peaceful shifts ever could. It was the ultimate lesson in responsibility. I just wish I hadn't learned it the hard way. I don't want that for you. If you watched part 1 and came here for part 2, thank you. Thank you for letting me share the full, terrifying truth. It feels better to have it all out there. Now, I need you to do something for me. If this video taught you something about shifting safety, if it made your skin crawl with recognition, or made you promise yourself you'll be more careful, do 3 things. Comment "I'll be careful" so I know you heard me, so I know this warning found its way to the right people. 2. Share this with anyone you know who's trying to shift. They need to hear this, not to scare them, but to protect them. And 3. Subscribe. Because next week I'm uploading the most important video I'll ever make. It's a complete guide on how to shift safely. All the protections I use now, the detailed scripting method, the pre-shift rituals, the psychic hygiene, everything I wish I had known. You do not want to miss it. The wrong reality experience was the most terrifying thing that has ever happened to me, but it doesn't have to happen to you. Your desired reality is waiting. It's beautiful and it's real. Just make sure you know exactly how to get there. And more importantly, exactly how to get back. Be safe out there, shifters. I'm Luna, and I'll see you in the next video.